So does this settle the issue of who owns hummus? Because obviously that's like a very political thing which we won't get into. But yani, what you're saying is it's a fusion. It comes and yani, Jeddah seems to have settled it. And saying like, everybody's welcome. Guys, this is all fusion anyway. People come from different places. So no one really owns hummus. Well, am I wrong?
Well, I actually did a lot of research.
Okay. Who owns hummus? Tell us.
And the earliest recorded hummus is from Egypt.
Thank God, I knew it.
It's from Egypt. It's in an Egyptian cookbook. That's the oldest written record of hummus. In reality, it's associated with the Levant, with
Syria. We own hummus. You said it.
Syria, Lebanon, that area. And and what I like to tell my Israeli followers is hummus is the Arabic word for chickpea. So if the dish is called an Arabic word, then this is an Arabic dish.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyed by everybody.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be. At the Lighthouse, we offer bread and hummus to anyone who walks in. Yani that's how much we think it's part of the culture.
Yeah, 100%.
Part of our DNA.
100%. No, I don't like to say that people own.
No, we own
foods.
it now. I mean, you said it. I mean, Egyptians own it. So I feel now I own it.
Yeah.
So now it all makes sense.
my mom's gonna have to have a word.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Okay, hopefully she's listening. Maybe me and her have to have a private conversation. So you grew up in a city with a lot of cultures, obviously melting pot in some ways.
Yes.
You yourself are a product of a melting pot in some ways.
100%.
Explain to us that interest in food. How did this come up? Was it just because your mother cooked really good dishes, or what sparked this passion? Before I go on, I want to say this on the record, and I think it's important. I find your Instagram account, and what I call it, essentially it's a blog, fantastic, really. And we have, as you know, because I've been messaging you every time I've done this, used it, gone to places, my family and I, that you've recommended, and really it's very, very well done. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but I want to understand first what sparked this passion regarding food.
Sure. So growing up, my father was born in Damascus. He moved to Saudi in 1950.
Okay.
And so I was born there. But he was a gourmand. He loved food. His passions were food, football, soccer,
Allah yarham.
and Allah yarhamu, and watching the news and things like that. Old school guy.
Yeah.
Listen to the news on the radio and everything.
Yeah.
But food was the most important thing.
Okay. Did
So
he cook?
he didn't cook.
Okay.
He didn't cook.
So really old school, yeah.
Yeah.
He liked the food but didn't cook it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He used to. The only thing I've ever seen him make was fattat hummus.
That's not bad.
No, it's not
more
bad.
than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he made his own coffee in the morning.
Okay.
So
what kind of coffee?
Turkish coffee.
Turkish coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that you boil and
Okay.
over and over.
Kanaka والبتاع and you
the
put
whole
it on.
thing. Yeah, that was his thing.
Okay.
And so I grew up like that. Our business is with French companies. Yeah. Growing up, my family business is in the
fragrance,
luxury business,
luxury
fragrance,
brands.
things like that. So growing up,
it's a distribution business.
Is that right? Retail and distribution of
for
luxury
mostly French luxury brands.
Mostly French and Italian.
Okay.
Some American also.
Okay.
And I was the youngest in the family.
Of how many?
Of 3.
Okay.
My brother and sister were off in boarding school,
okay.
And I was at home in Jeddah. So they used to take me. My mom and dad used to take me with them to trips to Paris.
Why did you not go to boarding school?
I was younger, and then I went.
Oh, you did. Where did you go?
I went to Lebanon for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then England.
Okay.
And then I went to university in the United States in Boston.
Okay, now that's good because thank God you escaped the British accent.
I was in an American school, American curriculum.
Okay, good.
But in England, we had to wear the tie and everything.
That I'm fine.
So going back to the food. So my parents used to take me with them to Paris to have meetings. And one of the brands I remember our brands was Guerlain. Guerlain is a very well-known fragrance business. So at the time, it was still owned by the Guerlain family. Mm-hmm. So whenever we would go there, Monsieur Guerlain would invite us to Michelin-starred restaurants. And they would bring me. So I was exposed to this from the age of like 8 or 9. I remember distinctly eating at a restaurant in Paris called La Serre, which is an institution, from a very young age. My parents were also very strict at the table with etiquette and knowing how to eat and how to use the knife and the fork. So my palate started developing at a very young age.
Okay.
I remember distinctly being very, very young and loving smoked salmon and caviar and fish and all of these things that kids...
Refined palate.
Yes. And so that's how it started. That's how it started. So it was a passion of mine. And then I want to just explain how the idea for the Bedouinfoodie Instagram blog came along. When Instagram started, people were posting pictures of their food. And then this joke started going around in the world, people making fun of people who post pictures of their food, that it's annoying. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to annoy my friends. I started another account, and I called it the Bedouinfoodie, which I am. Bedouin, I explained to you because of my mix.
Yeah,
I'm mixed. I'm from all over the place. I've lived all over the world. So I called it Bedouinfoodie.
But also, يعني طبعا tongue in cheek, right? Bedouin foodie, يعني of how people think of Bedouin. I mean, when we say that, you don't necessarily think of kind of sophisticated palate, right?
No, you don't.
So I think that's what I love about the name. يعني obviously it's a contrast and it's a...
Okay. Yeah. I'm a guy who came out of Jeddah.
مفهوم.
And so that's how I started. I started posting photographs.
How many years ago was that?
2017.
Okay.
So we're like 5 now.
Yeah.
So I've been working on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
And people started following, and to my surprise, people actually were interested in what I had to say and what I had to explain.
Well, what's very interesting about what you do, sorry to interrupt you partially, is that you are also educating.
Yes.
This is not just posting pretty food pictures or even saying, you know what, guys, I just went to restaurant X, Y, and Z, try it out. You are providing context, historical context, cultural context.
100%.
So
I actively research post before doing it.
So that intertwined relationship of food and memory, food and heritage, food and culture is very present in your account.
Yes. That's the thing I'm most passionate about.
Okay.
Is this. I like to explain a dish, what's in it. Certain subtleties between Lebanese and Syrian food.
Are you targeting a particular audience here? Is this for, I am a British expat living in Dubai and I don't know the difference between a Lebanese and a Syrian dish? Or is this like anyone should really have a bit more context kind of thing?
It's a combination of things. I didn't specifically go out targeting a specific audience. But what I found today is the majority of people who follow my account are pretty serious about food. They want to know the origins of a dish. They'd like to know the ingredients of a dish. They like my photography and editing that I do. And more and more, I'm finding people who are following me because they like the variety I put. I'll cover something that's Michelin starred and all the way down to a hole in the wall.
High and low.
Pardon?
High and low.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
you follow them with the same seriousness, which I've noticed.
It's about the food. It's about the dish. I have a lot of respect for food and people who work in this industry. So I like to highlight.
Yeah, I mean the place I went to was a place, hole in the wall in Barsha that you recommended.
Yes.
A few feet away from my house. I was telling you earlier, and I went there with my 2 kids minutes after you posted. I think that night.
Yeah.
And the guy thought I was you, and he was like, "Oh, there was another bald guy here, and since he's come, everybody's been coming." I'm like, "I'm not another bald guy," but anyway, that's a different story.
A lot of people went. And I love that. When
we went there that night, and it was fantastic.